more I look at things and the more I see what's happening in the world and people who are in leadership positions, the people who seem to me to be most successful are people who are not necessarily following a plan. I know a lot of people write books of like the 10 ways to succeed or how you do this, and here's a cookbook recipe for how to do things. But it's more when people internalize their values, live out their values, act from a place deep in their own lives, that people really learn to see them and trust them with what they do. And that's really how I define character. I was chatting with one of your staff people before we went on air today, and we were talking about that idea of living out your values. And with what we do in my own organization, Interfaith Paths to Peace in the office, you know, we all have little tips and things like everybody does. But I think more than anything, we try to live out values of tolerance and kindness and sharing and compassion to each other.
If you could change one thing in your life or in general, what would that be, Terry? It's a really self-interpretive question. It can be global, political, personal.
That's a really good question. And thinking about if I could just change one thing in the world, I encounter different religions all the time. And
you
there's
travel
a lot,
quite a bit, too.
Yeah, I have traveled here and there around the world. But as I've seen things and explored things, probably the thing that has struck me most is a concept that comes out of Buddhism, and it's related to the idea of compassion. And it's an interesting distinction. In Western religion, in Christianity and Judaism and Islam, the big issue or big conflict is good and evil.
Okay.
In Eastern religions, and especially within Buddhism, the concern is not so much about a battle between good and evil and are you going to heaven or hell. It's about suffering and how we reduce the idea of suffering for ourselves and for other people and even for other beings, for animals, for example. And so if I could change one thing about the world, it would be to eliminate suffering or reduce the amount of suffering in the world. And I guess part of my work is about that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.